As depressurization continues in the crew lock, we are now under 2 psi. The International Space Station, flying 266 statute miles over the Indian Ocean, will be coming up over the south coast of Australia shortly.
Hey, Woody, I'm reading airlock pressure 1.1.
Okay, Sultan, copy that. We're just lagging a little behind on the PCS. I'll give you a go for step 10 in just a moment.
Let's copy, standing by.
Sultan, I'm guessing we're 30 seconds to a minute out from that action.
Copy.
Okay, Sultan, take the depress pump man ISO valve to closed.
Copy. ISO valve closed.
Copy that. Sultan, on the UAA, switch depress pump power off, OFF.
The press pump is off.
All right, and with that, you guys can report your initial tether config to Ann for egress.
Okay, let's start with my left side. On my left side, I have my left wave tether to my mini workstation, then to the D-ring extender, gate closed, slider locked. I have my tether pack, red hook, gate closed, slider locked, and the red reel is unlocked. Yellow hook is gate closed, slider locked. The green reel is to my mini workstation. On my right-hand side, I have my light wave tether, gate closed, slider locked, to Sultan's blank hook.
Like I see that, Steve, my anchor hook is connected to your waist tether, and anchor hook is get closed locked, black on black. My green reel is unlocked, and the green hook from the green reel is connected to my red reel. That hook is get closed locked, black on black. Red reel is unlocked, and from the red reel I have my my yellow hook is connected to the green reel, and it's get closed locked, black on black. And the red hook from the red reel is connected to my right gearing extender, and that hook is get closed locked, black on black. The same wing extender on the right. I have my base tether. Small hook is gate closed lock, black on black. Large hook is connected to the internal viewing extender. It's gate closed lock, black on black. On my left side, I have a viewing extender, and I have my second waist tether, and small hook is gate closed lock, black on black. Large hook is connected to my main workstation.
Okay, Stephen Sultan, that's a good load path, good config.
NASA astronaut Steve Bowen and UAE astronaut Sultan Al Neyadi reporting their configuration of tethers, their mini workstation, and other equipment before they begin opening the hatch.
Okay, and Stephen Sultan, just a reminder, once the DPT gets near 0, you can expect an alert tone.
Copy. Copy that.
All right, so trying to see if we get my body down here a little bit further. Take it to the handle at some point.
Report and forward.
All right. Oh, I just hung up on something.
Now less than 0.9 psi in the crew lock. Aside from the spacewalk preparations that we're watching right now on the International Space Station, Andrei Fedyaev and Dmitry Petelin, as well as Frank Rubio, are currently in the exercise portions of their day. Astronauts on the International Space Station need to exercise for about 2 hours a day to maintain muscle mass and proper bone health while in microgravity. That exercise will be limited and actually restricted while the Canadarm 2 is in use today. Steve Bowen will be on the end of the Canadarm for part of the spacewalk. That'll be controlled by NASA's Frank Rubio, as well as monitored by Woody Hoberg, our ground IV, who's in the center of your screen and who worked this morning to suit up the 2 astronauts now in the crew lock portion of the airlock.
Station Houston, an update. We are at about 30 minutes of depress time. Looking at our predictions, we are expecting to need the entire 45 minutes before we take action. So you can expect another 15 minutes of depress before we take action.
If you want copy.
Navy 2 copy.
Depressurization of the crew lock continues, now 0.69 psi. Anticipating about 15 more minutes of this depressurization. It's a busy time aboard the International Space Station, as always these days. In addition to this spacewalk, there are 2 Roscosmos spacewalks coming up in May. We recently saw the departure of Northrop Grumman's 18th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station on April 21st. And just before that, SpaceX's 27th commercial resupply mission departed on April 15th. We expect to see another SpaceX resupply mission, the 28th, this summer, which will bring up 2 new International Space Station rollout solar arrays. We refer to those as IROSAs. Part of today's tasks are preparing the space station for installation of those IROSAs on a future spacewalk. Depressurization continues in the crew lock, bringing the airlock itself down to a vacuum to match that of space. This is about a 45-minute process. We have about 10 minutes left. Now at about 0.5 psi in the crew lock. Again, this is down from 14.7 psi where we started today and what the rest of the space station is at, as well as what's very similar to what we experience here on Earth.
All right, Stephen Sultan, I'm showing crew lock pressure less than 26 millimeters. Steve, can you verify the EV hatch gauge shows less than 0.6?
The hatch gauge shows less than 0.6, looks like about 0.4.
All right, with that, Steve, you have a go to open and stow the EV hatch. And a reminder, once you get it off the seals, you'll want to get the hatch MPEV to closed.
All right, I am opening the hatch and I will get the MPEV to close.
Good reports here in Mission Control Houston, as well as from the crew aboard the International Space Station. The hatch is now open and the crew lock itself is at a vacuum. Again, we will start our timer for today's spacewalk once the spacesuits themselves are on battery power.
And the hatch is open. The MPEV is closed. Is closed. Hatch is latched.
Okay, Steve, copy that. I can verify that the emergency MPEV is closed. Gentlemen, it's time for me to hand you over to Ann. It was a real honor suiting you up this morning. Sultan, you're making history today. Congratulations. We're so excited for you. Hope you both have a great EVA, and we'll see you in just a few hours.
Fantastic job, Woody. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks for all the help, Woody. Thank you.
And now that Woody Hoberg's job as suit IV is complete.
Sultan, how do you hear?
And I have you loud and clear.
And I got you loud and clear.
Fantastic. So with that, we can start our post-depress. On both DCMs, you're going to stagger your switch throws, and you can switch power to battery.
EV1, power going to battery. EV1. Okay, EV2 going to battery. I've got blank, no bite. Good startup.
And we copy.
EV2 the same.
Okay, we copy both power to bat, and you can switch your display to Pro to verify function display.
And EV1 display is functional.
EV2 functional display.
Sultan, on the UIA, you can switch power, EV1 and 2 to off, OFF, and check that all 4 LEDs are off.
Right, copy and work. V1, power off, LEDs off. V2, power off, LEDs off.
Okay, copy. For both of you, you can now disconnect your SCU from your DCM, install the DCM cover, and stow your SCU in the pouch.
And that did work, EV1. Work.
In the center of your screen is NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She's going to be the primary communicator with the astronauts while they are on today's spacewalk.
Okay, cover in place, SCU is in the pouch.
Then cover installed for the pouch.
Okay, we copy that you both have the DCM covers.
Pouch, right. It's affirmative, and I'm just looking for the pouch.
It's right here, I'm going to give it to you. There it is. Well, let's make sure it's on the right side there. So you see it, Sultan? Make sure it goes on the correct side of your...
I got it, thanks.
You're good.
Okay, DCM. Correction. SCU is in the pouch now.
Copy, both SCUs are in the pouches. At this time, you can check that the depress pump man ISO valve is closed.
That's affirmative. Nozzle valve closed.
Copy. For both crew on your DCMs, you can take your temperature control valve to max hot.
Control valve coming to max hot, EV1. Control valve, max hot, EV1.
Copy.
EV2, max hot.
Copy. You may now both switch water to on, ON.
EV1, water on. Water's on, EV1.
EV2, water is on.
Copy both. Now on your DCMs, check blank bite off.
Blank bite off, EV1.
EV2, blank light off.
Copy. You can now set your temperature control valve as desired and let us know what that setting is. And just a reminder throughout the EVA today to please report your changes and try not to do any changes that are larger than 2.
EV1 copies and repositioning.
Okay, EV2 TV setting is 5.
EV1's initial setting is 4 when I get there. KV1's initial setting is 4.
Okay, we copy 5 and 4. Thank you. Can you please report your suit P gauge?
P EV1 4.3.
And 4.3 for EV2.
Copy 4.3, and you can set your visors as required. We're about 5 minutes from a sunrise.
And I agree, it is dark outside. EV1 copies.
And EV2 copies.
Okay, and with that, we can verify that your suit parameters look good. So that'll take us, and we'll take care of the last step on the post-depress. So with that, we'll step into the procedures. So when we're ready, Steve, you are go to open the thermal cover.
Opening the thermal cover.
And Steve, reminder to release the hook from the magnetic plate D-ring and attach the hook to the stowage tether point and cinch the strap until snug.
And that's in work.
As we get a live view from outside the Quest airlock, we have confirmation that the spacewalk itself began at 8:11 a.m. Central Time today as the astronauts turn their suits to battery power.
And making snug. All right, and that's complete. Thermal hatch is open.
Copy. You are now go to egress the airlock.
Keep on egress in the airlock.
Busted.
And Sultan, as he egresses, your next step is going to be to transfer the crew lock bags out if you want to get eyes on crew lock bag on 2 or 3.
Okay, I was expecting the IDA bag.
No, IDA is 3rd.
All right, copy.
Yes, you can pass those bags in any order.
Okay.
All right, copy.
And by Sultan, I want to make sure I'm in a good orientation here and get my...
And Steve, as you get set, please also turn on your HECA.
All right, let me get myself in a good config here. Get my waist tether.
First out of the hatch this morning is NASA astronaut Steve Bowen. He is EV1. You can differentiate between he and Sultan Al Neyadi by the red stripe that is on Bowen's spacesuit.
And HECA. And I got a good green light for HECA. Okay, Sultan, I'm ready for a bag.
Okay, I'm sending bag number 3 first.
Bag number 3.
And I know you're tracking, but crew lock bags 2 and 3 are going to be stowed on the airlock zenith of the starboard airlock toolbox on 556.
556. Copy.
The crew members start their day with Sultan Al Neyadi passing out some of the
Please coming your way, Steve.
That's it.
passing out some of the bags that will be used to Steve Bowen. He will then stow those on a handrail for use later.
Airlock that. Got it. It's coming back.
Got it.
Okay, here it goes. All right, I'm going to put that up on there.
On the D-ring extender.
Thank you.
As you can see, the colors changing outside of the International Space Station. We will be entering an orbital sunrise, orbital daylight, very soon. The lights on the helmet camera of Steve Bowen down in the bottom left of your frame are currently on. The International Space Station sees 16 sunrises and sunsets a day, so these spacewalkers will work in alternating light and darkness throughout their time today.
All right, crew lock back 3, on 556, on the ret. My ret.
And we copy Steve, crew lock bag 3 on 556. And Sultan, just a reminder, the large small rets from these crew lock bags are going to get stowed on the airlock D-ring extender.
Yeah, copy, and the first bag, number 3, small red, is already on the D-ring extender.
Copy.
Okay, Sultan, I'm ready for bag number 2. Wait, ready. All right, I see bag number 2.
These bags that Al Neyadi is transferring to Bowen are stored on the same handrail. They'll be used later. They contain tools for different tasks.
Releasing the airlock. Ret.
And I'm ready for it.
Okay, here it comes.
Thanks.
Bag number 2, heading up.
A small red is going to be ready.
And that crew lock bag also goes to 556. And that large small ret Sultan also goes to airlock D-ring extender. And the next item to pass out will be the GoPro.
Copy on, I have it.
All right, bag number 2 is attached to 556 with the integral tether. The bag 3 is on with the ret, bag 2 is on with the integral tether.
Okay, we copy both crew locks on 556. Nicely done. And the next thing is to retrieve and install the GoPro.
All right.
It's ready for you, Steve.
Yep. All right, that is wrapped around the handle now. I gotta take that off first. GoPro is. All right. And I have that ready to my mini workstation. You can release the other end, Sultan.
Okay, can work. When you're ready.
All right. Then let the hook go. Thank you. Give me a minute to set that up.
Another short handover with the tracking data and relay satellite systems that help us communicate with the International Space Station. The crew members continue to prepare the crew lock bags that they will use later on in the spacewalk.
I've got the small hook on 550.
We copy small hook on 550. And Sultan, while you wait for him to come back to the IDA bag, we'd like you to check your safer handles and ensure that they are both full down.
Let's copy.
Okay, I got the big hook on 546.
And Steve, was that 546?
546 on the lower. All right, I've got it facing the correct way. So head back to the airlock.
Okay, we copy.
Both handles down.
Okay, copy Sultan. And Steve, we'd like you to do the same thing with your safer handles and just give them a tap and make sure they're both full down.
All right, give me 1 second to stop.
And Sultan, the next bag will be the IDA bag, and this large small ret will also go to the airlock D-ring extender.
Yeah.
All right, checking my papers. Right handle is down. Okay, left handle is down.
And we copy Steve, so you can get the IDA bag from Sultan and stow it on your BRT.
Okay. Okay, Sultan, pass it out this way. Almost there. A little bit further. Thank you.
I'll try to pass the handle.
I missed the handle. I got this.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
NASA's Anne McClain, our ground IV today. She lived aboard the International Space Station during expeditions 58 and 59 and was a lead spacewalker on 2 spacewalks herself.
Yeah, hold on. I want to get it, make sure it's on there.
Take your time.
I'm trying to tuck the wire ties in. All right, that might be your T. Your T red is attached. Lock rat. Coming back to you. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Okay, let me get this stuck down where I want it. Those wire ties don't do a thing where I want them to, but it's okay.
And Sultan, the next bag will be crew lock bag 1, and you can pass that out to Steve, or you can egress with it, your choice. Reminder to keep the large small ret on crew lock bag 1.
Right, copy that. I'm going to pass it to Steve and then release the hook when he has a red on it.
Copy. And Steve, as you wait for that, can you check the strap on the thermal cover, the one that you cinched, and to make sure that there are 6 lines visible?
Hold on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 lines visible.
Copy. Thanks for the check.
All right. So I'm unfamiliar. Zach is up, and I'm unfamiliar with what that shows exactly for right above eye. So give me an idea at some point. Appreciate that. It's well above my head.
Copy. Will do.
Thank you. All right, Sultan, I'm ready for your bag.
Coming your way.
All right. Not quite. They wrap your bag. They release the lock rat. Hold on. Here it comes.
No, Steve, actually, this stays with the...
Oh, that's right.
back. Yeah.
Here, bring it back
I'm
up.
going to pass it back.
Thank you. Actually, you can just hook it back up. I'll put it right here. Thank you for the reminder.
No problem.
Can you release here and now hold on to it?
You have a rate on it?
I got a hand on it, I got a rat on it. So you release the brake hook and then I'll put it on.
All right, and work.
Yeah, good words on that large small ret. And just another note on this bag, Sultan, if you're going to want to use your BRT during translation adaptation, then you can go ahead and temp stow crew lock bag 1 on that airlock handrail. If you're not going to use your BRT, then once you egress, we'll get it on your BRT.
I think after my BRT, and I'll do the adaptation with a waist tether, the handrail.
You can just hook it to the handrail right now, and then you can grab it on the way out.
You can do that, yeah.
Okay. All right, I have the crew lock bag by the big hook on the airlock handrail to release my ret. And I will clear the hatch for you.
Thank you, Steve. Then I'm ready to egress.
Sultan, you are go to egress.
I'm going to get the view from my feet before.
The astronauts have been working through preparation of their tool bags, as well as ensuring their tethers are in the proper configuration. Now preparing for UAE astronaut Sultan Al Neyadi to egress the hatch.
See you coming out?
Yep.
Before that, actually, I need to reroute the SCUs coming in between my safety tether.
Okay. Take your time. Make sure it's right.
Sure. My safety tether out. Coming out.
And Sultan, once you get out and set, your next step is to receive crew lock bag 1 and stow it if you want to do that right now. Otherwise, you can leave it temp stowed for translation adaptation.
It's right here.
I can go receive it.
At 30 minutes into today's spacewalk, UAE astronaut Sultan Al Neyadi has egressed the hatch, the first ever spacewalk for an astronaut from the United Arab Emirates. Another good look at both of our spacewalkers here. On the right, you see NASA's Steve Bowen with red stripes around the legs of his spacesuit. That'll help you tell the difference from him and Sultan Al Neyadi, who's on the left side in an unmarked suit.
And Steve, while he is working crew lock bag 1, just want to let you know that we noticed that the wire tie caddy is not staying tucked to the IDA bag. Just wanted to put your awareness on it in case you want to tuck it in somewhere or add another ret.
Yeah, let me try and fix that again. I thought I had tucked it in when I pulled it out. It's a better place to tuck it.
Okay, stow it back, stow it to my BRT.
Okay, copy, Sultan. You can now turn on your HECA.
Key green LED hacker.
Okay, we copy your HECAs on, and just a quick note to congratulate the UAE for having their flag on an EMU outside the International Space Station for the first time. And gentlemen, you can get it set up for your buddy checks.
Thanks so much.
All right. Okay, so I see 2 green lights. I see 2 latches up. The 3 latches up, 1 is taped.
That's a BRT.
And I see your right space tether. And
Going to the unlock.
that one goes back to the left, the gate closed slide locked on the small hook. On your red hook, the gate closed slide locked. See the red reel, which is unlocked, and the yellow hook, which is blocked. Gate closed slide locked on the green reel, which is unlocked. To my right wave feather, which is gate closed slide locked on me. So I see up to the kick config. I see
safer handles.
check your safer handles again. To your left safer handle down. To your right safer handle down.
I have it right.
Good
All
checks on Sultan.
Yours. See. LB hacker. WSE. E tabs up on BRT and mid workstation. Right safer handle is down. Your safer handle is down as well. Right, have your other gas closed, locked, black on black. Is connected with my anchor hook, both hooks. Get closed, black, locked, black on black. Right.
Alright, I have happens, drive.
Yes. Have, get back. I see red. Flow black. Oh, black on black. Okay.
I'll check those when I drop them.
Okay, cool. I think you're in good comfort.
Thank you.
If your hat is dry.
My hat is dry.
All right, nicely done.
My gloves are nominal.
Steve, your next step is going to be to translate out to the anchor hook location, up the Cedar Spur and out face 1, and you're looking for mile marker 5760. Sultan, you're going to hang out right there. Once Steve is clear, you can tend the thermal cover hatch closed as much as you can. Obviously won't go all the way. And you can perform translation adaptation as needed.
Copy that.
All right, heading out to mile marker 5760.
Steve, a reminder as you go along face 1, we have those tusk cables out, so just avoid inadvertent contact on the zenith and nadir cedar rails.
Understand, avoid the tusk cables. I'll be looking for them.
The astronauts have completed their buddy checks. Along the way, we heard a handful of acronyms that we'll continue to hear throughout the spacewalk. One of those is the HECA. That's the high-def EMU camera assembly, as well as the WVS, the wireless video system. Those will help us get views from the helmet cameras on the astronauts. Additionally, we heard the MWS, that's the mini workstation that's attached to the astronauts themselves, as well as the BRT, the body restraint tether.
The top of the CETA, and then get the CETA card.
And we copy, Steve. We see you out there. Just for your awareness, we have all the external cameras. We do not have your helmet cams yet. We're working the issue.
Oh, okay.
Right now, Steve Bowen has moved to the CETA cart. That's the crew equipment translation aid. Meanwhile, on screen here is Sultan Al Neyadi. He's working to close the thermal cover. The main hatch on the Quest airlock will remain open in case the astronauts needed to ingress quickly at any time. As this is his first spacewalk, he also has a little bit of extra time to get used to maneuvering outside in the vacuum of space.
And Steve, we see you getting toward 5760, and you're going to be placing the anchors just nadir of 5760. The first handrail you're going to be looking for is 3011, and that's the one that is straight up and down.
Okay, 5760, I'm at that mile marker. All right, 3011. That's what I'm looking for, correct?
Affirmative. On 3011, you're going to drop your anchor hook, EV1 anchor hook, ensuring the gate closed and hook locked.
Yes, stand by. Okay, EV1 anchor hook, 3011. It is closed. Lock on block, it's locked. The green reel is unlocked.
Okay, good word, Steve. You're now going to go just inboard to the diagonal handrail 3217, and you're going to put Sultan's EV2 anchor on handrail 3217.
Okay, handrail 3217, V1 anchor hook. An 82 anchor hook. Alright, I have 82's anchor hook. Stay close final lock on 3217. Now see you sending back to the airlock.
Okay, we concur you guys are in a good safety tether config, so with that, you can give Sultan a go to release his weight tether from the airlock D-ring extender.
Sultan, you have a go to release your waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender.
Copy that, releasing my waist tether from the D-ring extender.
Steve, you can continue outboard toward S6. Reminder to give us a gauntlet call prior to crossing the Sarge, and your next step is going to be to drop your green hook at out on S5, and reminder that at the Sarge you're going to translate zenith. Sultan, once you have your waist tether... Sultan, once you have your waist tether off, you can close the thermal cover.
Copy that. Thermal cover closed.
Copy. Thermal cover closed. You can now head to ESP2 for bag stow. And reminder, you're going to translate. You can either translate on the wagon wheel of the airlock across to ESP2, or you can go direct from the toolboxes over to ESP2 to the starboard side.
All right, copy that. All right, my gauntlets are down. I am at the Sarge.
Okay, copy, Steve. And reminder, because of the angles everything's parked in, you're going to need to go zenith prior to crossing. And when you cross, you're going to have the non-radiator side of the IEA out your left side.
All right, my left side non-radiator. Let's see where I am.
And Steve, as a check, once you cross the struts, you're going to, the first whiff, you're going to see our whiff 2 and 6 and handrail 2203, and then you know you're on the right path.
Yep, 2 and 6, I'm on the right path, and that's a great cue, thank you.
Sure thing. You can just head straight out starboard now. You're going to be going all the way along that edge until you get to the S6 handrail 2003, which is going to be the first one on the S6 long spacer.
2003, first one S6, and that's where I dropped my green hook, I think, right?
Good words.
This view coming from the helmet camera of Sultan Al Neyadi, the International Space Station currently flying.
ESP2, you're going to be going to the starboard side, just forward of that trunnion pin. The good news out there is that there's no NBL structure to get in your way, so you should make that corner nice and easy. And you're going to be looking for handrail 8007.
To that 8007, and I did notice that NBL structure here, thanks.
Alright, I'm at 2003, stopping to drop my green hook.
Copy. Green hook to 2003, and just note the barber pole on the one side.
And I see it.
The space station currently flying 258 statute miles over the South Atlantic Ocean, which we are getting glimpses of in the background of Sultan Al Neyadi's camera.
You just continue straight outbound on that same path to S6 handrail 2009. That'll be with the IEA off to your right side. And a reminder, your left hand as you get out there is going to cross handrail 2008, and that is the one that has wire ties and MLI secured to it that we want to try to minimize loads into.
Understand, 2008 minimize loads. Okay, green hook. On 2003. It is gate close fire lock. But that's not even on that hook, but it is. Alright. Put this your key down a little bit more.
Yeah, good word, Steve. You're right, it doesn't need to be locked, but we'll take the belt and suspenders anytime. So you're just heading outboard to 2009.
I agree. Outboard.
And this video coming from Steve Bowen's helmet camera. He continues to stow bags where needed outside the International Space Station. And his next main task will be to relocate an articulating portable foot restraint that will be used later in the spacewalk.
And Steve, that's you're passing that BCDU MLI right now on 2008, and that's what we want to try to not put loads in. I think you saw it as you went by.
I did. I slowed down, made sure I reached across it. And I'm at 2032 in 2009 now, so I'm at my next work site.
Copy. Yes, you are. You can stow the IDA cable bag right in front of you, and there's going to be an integral tether to 2010 on your left and another to 2032 on your right.
All right. I'll get that in work.
And then reminder, we are going to have another large, small adjustable from the lid of the bag over to 2032 as well. So there will be 2 connections on 2032.
Copy.
And Sultan, it looks like you have a good temp stow on the bag. When you're ready, you're going to translate back toward the airlock the way you came to go up the CETA spur, and your next stop is going to be the port CETA cart to retrieve an APFR.
Good, copy. Port CETA cart. And is it the inboard or outboard handrail expansion on 2010?
We suggested the outboard, and then for 2032, the one that's farthest away from you. But if you see a better way, just let us know.
All right.
And actually, Steve, I had that backwards on 2010. We suggest the inboard, but again, whatever you need to get it tacked down tightly.
All right. Have it down on the inboard.
And Sultan, as you get up the CETA spur, you're going to be heading up to the port CETA cart.
That's copy.
And as you get up on phase 1 Sultan, that port CETA cart will be off to your right side. And a reminder for you as well of not touching the test cables.
Right, we got it. Okay, I have one of the corners to 2032, the other corner to 2010, and the big hook on 2032 well, back to the top of the back.
Copy, good config, Steve. And we will take a glove inspection and a HAP check and ensuring your gauntlets are in place.
Okay, my gauntlets are in place. Hat is dry. I'm checking my gloves.
Okay, copy, Steve. Then you can continue your tour of station, and you can translate back inboard to the starboard CETA cart to retrieve an APFR, and you will retrieve your green hook on the way.
Okay, retrieve my green hook, head back to the starboard CETA cart. My gloves are good.
Copy, good glove check. And nice work, Sultan. And we can head to the up the CETA spur when you're ready. Nice work.
Copy. Okay, stop and retrieve my green hook.
Copy, green hook.
This is Mission Control Houston. Views from both of our spacewalkers, now 53 minutes into today's spacewalk.
To the starboard CETA with 4, which is the top right. And note as you translate that, when you get there, there is 2 APFRs. There's one in the top right and the bottom right. We want the one in the top right that has the ingress aid.
All right, I understand.
Bowen and Al Neyadi are heading out to relocate an APFR. That's an articulating portable foot restraint. It's often used during spacewalks to help astronauts secure themselves in one location as they work on a specific task.
They stick together. Bring in my translation.
We copy the green hook.
I'm translating under the MT.
Copy, Sultan. And Sultan, as you get out to the port CETA cart, you're going to be picking up the APFR that's on the bottom left with 2, and that will also have an ingress 8 on it.
Copy, bottom left, left 2. The ingressing.
10 seconds to a handover.
This is Mission Control Houston. We are in a satellite handover with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station as they continue today's spacewalk. Again, they are heading out to relocate an articulating portable foot restraint. Following relocation of the APFR, they will begin moving out to route cables and modify some multi-layer insulation on one of the modification kits preparing for installation of future solar arrays.
We're back with you after the handover.
All right, passing the anchor hooks.
Copy. And Sultan, we see you at the APFR. When you have a second, we'd like you to double check that the pitch setting is Papa Papa, and then we want you to not change the pitch setting when you translate. Not change the pitch setting.
Right, we'll check for Papa Papa, we'll not change it.
Sultan, that was an impressive fix. You have surgeon's hands.
Thank you.
All right, I am at the starboard CETA cart. Get up on it.
Okay, copy, Steve. And you're looking for the top right with 4. And we are going to have you keep that APFR in the width and adjust the pitch knob when you get there.
Understand. Top right with 4. Adjust the pitch knob while it's still in the width.
Yep, and for...
And I see Foxtrot on this APFR.
And Sultan, understand that you see Foxtrot.
That's affirmative, yes.
Copy, Sultan. Standby 1. Steve, for yours in width 4, we're going to have you leaving the APFR in the width, adjust the pitch setting to Fox. And Sultan, we were expecting Papa on yours, so we're talking about it for a second. Papa on yours.
Okay.
And Sultan, we would like you to have you adjust that pitch setting to Papa. So just the pitch setting, and you can leave it in the width if you'd like. And so Steve, Fox, Sultan, Papa.
Copy, Fox, Fox, that should work.
We are now 1 hour into today's spacewalk. The astronauts have made their way out to the CETA cart, the Crew Equipment and Translation Aid, and they are both working on a separate APFR, Articulating Portable Foot Restraint, verifying the settings are needed to be used later today.
Okay. Fox, Fox. Alright, I have the APFR and Fox, Fox, and the pitch knob is locked and able to be depressed.
Those are great words, Steve, as you know. So you can retrieve that APFR now with the ingress aid and stow it on your BRT.
Alright, that's going to be in work in a minute. Okay, I have Papa, and this APFR, and pitch knob is locked and can be depressed.
Okay, good word, Sultan. You are now going to pick up that APFR with the ingress aid and stow it on your BRT.
Let it do it.
As you both work those APFRs onto your BRT, big picture, you're going to be pretty synced up now. You're going to be heading out to S6. Just note we're about 5 minutes to a sunset if you want to set your visors accordingly.
Thank you very much, sir. Copy.
Again, the crew members continue with the first task of the day, which is fixing the appropriate settings on these articulating portable foot restraints. They will stow those on their body retractable tether. The APFR will be used later in the spacewalk.
Copy. And just to confirm, man, I was translating on the hands of the cart and release the brakes.
Yes, good words, and we'll also catch them on the end of the EVA. Steve's actually going to be back on this CETA cart to pick up the other APFR in a little later, but that's always a good check, and we'll always take it.
Copy, thanks. Load the empty. Hey, the rest of the APFR. APFR is in the jaws of my DRT. The wave of Sultan as he goes by. Hey, Sultan, how are you? Good.
I assume I'm good to translate ahead of you, Steve, right?
I think that's the plan, yep.
Yes, we were just talking about that. You are going to translate ahead of him, so you're going to continue outboard prior to crossing. You're going to cross where the anchor hooks are, and then a little bit outboard of that prior to crossing the Sarge. We'll make sure your gauntlets are in place, and you're going to be translating zenith from there. And so you're going to go kind of up face 1 and then across the Sarge.
Right, totally.
All right, keep an eye on my tether there as you go by it there, Sultan.
Thank you, Steve. I see it, and I see our anchor hooks.
Now that both crew members have the APFR, the articulating portable foot restraint, with them, they're heading out to the S6 truss where they will install those APFRs and prepare for the next task of routing some cables to prepare for future installation of new International Space Station rollout solar arrays, also known as IROSAs. These will be delivered later this year.
Man, my gauntlets are down. I'm ready to cross the Sarge.
Copy. And for both of you, it's the same translation path as Steve took out the first time. So as you cross the Sarge, you're going to come zenith, and then cross onto S4, and you should have the non-radiator side out your left side and the IEA out your right side.
And I copy, thank you.
Good night, man.
As you can see,
Can we confirm mile mark or handrail that we got the hop?
Yeah, Sultan, so before crossing the Sarge, we'll have you ensure your gauntlets are in place. And then you're going to translate zenith. And then when you go across the struts and you get to S4, have that non-radiator side out your left side. The first thing you should see is whiff 2 and whiff 6, and then handrail 2203.
All right, you're ahead of me, Sultan. You're on the right path. When you cross over, what did you cross over to the other side in?
And I concur, and I picked my gauntlets right down. I took the expected route, and I'm by the handrail 2103, heading outboard.
Okay, we copy 2103 and heading outboard. 2103.
As you can see, the
Sultan, when you get out there.
Our handrails for anchor hook achieve 2003.
Yes, so you're going to hook to your green hook to 2004, which is one handrail outboard of 2003, and then 2 handrails outboard of that is where you're going to actually cross on the inboard side of the BCDU that's open. So the first thing you want to do, though, is get your green hook on 2004.
Right, copy. Green hook on 00. Can work.
This view from the helmet camera of Sultan Al Neyadi, United Arab Emirates astronaut, on the first spacewalk for an Emirati astronaut. Lighting looks a little different outside the International Space Station right now, as the station itself is in an orbital nighttime. Again, we'll see several changes in, we'll see several sunrises and sunsets today during the spacewalk, as it currently flies 265 statute miles over the Indian Ocean.
Okay, green hook for EV2, handrail 204.
Okay, good work, Sultan. And while you're paused here, just a reminder, actually for both of you, for the helmet lights, if you push the button multiple times, you might get 1 light, 2 light, and then they'll go off. So if the light seems dim, you may not have both lights on.
Thank you, Ed.
Copy.
And Sultan, you're going to continue out along S6. When you see whiff 9, you're going to take a right, and you're going to see handrail 2024, and that's going to be just on the inboard side of the BCDU. So you're just going to head straight across. Just on the inboard side of the BCDU.
Copy that, sir.
And Steve, you're just heading out to where you were before to drop your green hook on 2003, and then head straight all the way outboard. And then head straight all the way outboard.
And I'm working on that now. There it is.
Yeah, and that short handrail there, Sultan, is 2025, and then it'll be a kind of a reach around to the other side, and then you can go outboard, and you're going to be looking for your S6 with 15.
Right?
And Sultan, one more body orientation reminder. When you get out to S6 and you find whiff 15, we'd like you to position your body over the IEA and ensure that your safety tether is on the IEA side of that whiff. And there's 2 whiffs there. Whiff 15 is the one that kind of points in the direction of the radiator. Whiff 15 is the one that kind of points in the direction of the radiator.